Jin's recent statement shook the BTS fanbase around the world. "There's something that must be said, and I can't stay silent any longer." That sentence, suddenly delivered during a limited internal communication session with HYB and circulated through closed channels, immediately sparked a wave of speculation. Why did Jin mention Jungkook and Taehyung directly? What exactly is happening behind the scenes between these three BTS members? The context cannot be ignored. Jin, the eldest BTS member, had just completed his mandatory military service. He returned with a more serious and contemplative aura. In a statement that was never officially released but leaked through several trusted sources in the South Korean entertainment industry, Jin indicated the presence of emotional imbalance and increasing communication gap during the military hiatus. The names Jungkook and Taehyung appeared as two figures who were greatly changed, according to Jin, a statement that immediately created tension among fans. According to gathered information, Jin expressed concern over Jungkook's attitude, who lately seemed increasingly closed off to other members, and his independent decisions made without group discussion. Some interpreted this as a subtle critique of Jungkook's decision to be more active as a soloist and often appear in overseas collaborations, without mentioning BTS directly. Jin stated, "We're not just individuals who shine on our own. If we forget who we are together, then everything is meaningless." That sentence was viewed by some observers as a gentle rebuke to Jungkook. It didn't stop there. Jin also touched on Taehyung, known by his stage name V, with a more emotional tone. He revealed that he was worried, seeing how Taehyung seemed increasingly distant from the group's identity. "I don't know whether he's trying to find himself or trying to run from something," said Jin in his statement. Internal sources mention that Taehyung is indeed going through an intense introspection phase, especially due to public pressure and the rising expectations of fans for his solo career. The tension was worsened by the fact that Suga and RM were not present during the nearly 2-hour conversation, so the discussion tended to focus only on the dynamics between Jin, Jungkook, and Taehyung. Korean pop culture analysts referred to this moment as one of the critical turning points in BTS's internal history, given that such sharp statements are rarely ever revealed beyond closed-door discussions. The question now, is this a sign of serious cracks in BTS's formation? Is Jin trying to save the remaining harmony by being firm? Or, on the contrary, is this the beginning of a bigger conflict that has long been hidden behind the members' professional smiles? Although HYB has yet to issue an official statement on this controversy, several senior fans and former BTS production staff have started to speak out. They confirmed that there have indeed been significant changes in member interactions following Jin and J-Hope's military enlistments. "There is an undeniable emotional distance," said one former BTS staff member who requested anonymity. They noted that informal meetings between members have greatly reduced, and communication is now mostly mediated through management. Furthermore, Jin also emphasized that what he did was not to create drama, but to voice the truth that other members find difficult to express. "I'm not angry. I just don't want to stay silent when I know something isn't right," he said. This statement indicates Jin's urgency to restore the sense of togetherness that has always been the foundation of BTS. However, some question whether Jin's move to speak openly was a wise strategy. With such immense public pressure, is Jin risking the harmonious image BTS has worked hard to preserve? On the other hand, many praise Jin's courage to speak up when others would rather protect the illusion of unity. In recent developments, Jungkook was reported to have canceled one of his scheduled live sessions this week, without any explanation. Meanwhile, Taehyung chose to upload black and white photos on social media without captions, a gesture that further fueled fan speculation about his current emotional state. This condition raises deeper questions. If Jin, a figure known for being rational and loyal to the group, felt the need to speak openly, does that mean something more serious is happening within BTS? And if there is indeed distance between the members, what is the future of BTS after all this has been exposed? One thing is certain, Jin speaking out is not just a momentary emotional outburst. It is a loud warning signal that BTS's internal harmony is facing a major test. Whether it will strengthen their foundation or shake it, Only time will tell. Jin's statement was indeed shocking, but has the public responded critically? In an intensely emotional situation like this, where one sentence can divide public opinion into thousands of speculations, we need to ask deeper questions. Did all this truly happen as reported? Or is this merely a narrative crafted to generate virality, arouse curiosity, and ultimately form mass perception that may not be based on facts? Most of the information about the internal conflict between Jungkook, and Taehyung didn't come from official press conferences, nor from written statements by HYB. Instead, fragments of this story emerged from short TikTok videos, dramatic YouTube clips, and Twitter threads full of personal interpretations. So, how far should we trust this narrative? Is this merely social media bias distorted by the need to entertain and shock? Shouldn't we re-question the source of truth itself? In this context, it must be emphasized that the reported tension between Jin and the two other members remains speculative and unverified independently. The facts mentioned in various popular media are not results of field journalism investigations, but rather a series of assumptions built from clip snippets, unofficial statements, and interpretations of the BTS members' facial expressions and body language. So the question is, are we consuming news or watching an opinion construct? Ironically, many fans immediately believed the information without leaving room for doubt. They quickly took sides, some fully defending Jin, while others accused him of seeking attention. But is it fair to judge complex human relationships only from narrative fragments that may not even be authentic? Have we become victims of the fast information era, where the speed of spread is more important than the validity of the content? This phenomenon must serve as a reflection for all of us. To what extent has social media manipulated how we understand reality? Did Jin's statement truly come out in a serious and internal context, or was it selectively quoted to build a sensational story? And if it's true that Jin expressed concern about Jungkook and Taehyung, shouldn't that have been conveyed privately and not consumed en masse? A critical attitude is very important in assessing events like this. We need to ask, who benefits from this narrative? Is this a form of damage control by the agency under public pressure? Or is this a covert strategy to revive attention toward BTS amid military breaks and reduced group activity? If so, then the public has once again become a tool in a communication scenario designed to steer opinion massively, in the entertainment world, especially K-pop. The line between fact and narrative construction is often blurry. Internal issues are turned into content, and personal interactions become public analysis material. Doesn't this show how thin the line is between reality and fabrication? Therefore, whenever we read news like this, we must restrain ourselves, question, and evaluate. Is this information, or just part of the speculation industry? It must also be emphasized that until now, there has been no official confirmation from Jin, Jungkook, or Taehyung regarding the mentioned statement. There was no press conference, no audio recording. All that exists are snippets